right? Like there's things that you just can't buy. And I think for all of us, when those buckets are full, like when you're able to say, I am putting my time and energy in my own life, not worried about everyone else, into the things that are actually going to bring me a level of, I think, satisfaction and joy that is way lasting than just like a flash fry of happiness of buying something. When you do that over and over and over and over and over, you know, when scripture says you reap what you sow, I think there's an element of that.
Hold your head up high. This is our time.
All right, Rachel, welcome to the Women of Joy Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Excited you're here.
Yes, thank you.
In our Summer of Joy series.
I know, I love it. Sounds so fun.
We have a fun, hard topic to talk about today, but we're going to make it light. Moms in summer. Why is summer so hard for moms?
I know. I mean, we're out of routine, and I can say this. I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
And it's just hard. And I think the older they get, sometimes the more challenges that it is to keep them busy and doing things that they actually want to do. Because when they're little, they don't really have much opinion. You can kind of just shuffle them where you need them to be. And I think it's just out of our normal routine. And depending on if you're like type A, type B person, which I'm more type B, actually. And so summer actually for me gives a little reprieve of like, okay, we can relax. Where my husband, he's actually kind of the opposite. It was funny. We're entering summer as we're recording this podcast. And just the other day, he was like, Rachel, we should have like from 9 to 10, they do art he like wanted a schedule every day for the kids. And I was like, oh babe, just let them like watch TV. It's fine for a few weeks. Like let them have, but it's a hard thing. And especially if you're a working mom. So a lot of dual income families, we see a lot, especially at Ramsey. And so you're juggling as a mom, if you're working, what to do with them and signing up for camps and getting them placed. I mean, it's like a part-time job, even just to create that schedule. So it can create a lot of stress and a lot of money. It costs a lot, right, to do it all. So summer's a lot. It's beautiful and fun, but it also carries some weight.
And money is kind of your forte, and that's why we brought you in today. And we've known you, that's what we were just talking, over 10 years. You launched your first book that tour with us at Women of Joy and our men's event with your dad.
12 or 13 years ago.
Yeah, because my mom, we were coming back up here Sunday night for the Caleb Awards, and we were talking, and she said how proud your dad looked standing backstage when you were speaking. And she said it was so sweet. She said, I don't remember much, but I always have remembered just how proud he looked at Rachel when standing backstage.
That's
so that
sweet.
was fun. But yes, so you hear from women all across the country on the radio show with financial issues. What mistakes do you see moms and families make in summer?
In summer specifically, I think we can kind of, again, take our foot off the gas. I think, like, again, when there's structure in place, I think it's easier to hit goals, to be on track, and financially, even like the budget, right? It's like, okay, we know things are somewhat predictable throughout the calendar year. But then when you get to summer and in June and July, part of August, it's just like, it's a free-for-all. And that ends up playing into our money. And so you end up spending more, usually on out to eat and food. And then also you want to entertain the kids, and they're going to want to do things. So even if it's, $5 to go, to the rec center for them to swim, that adds up pretty quickly if you do that a couple times a week with a family of 5. And so you end up spending money on a lot of activities that you don't plan on. So on the front end, as much as you can plan for, hey, we probably need a line item in the budget, if you do a budget, to say, this is going to be our catch-all category, because there's going to be things you do not expect happen throughout the week.
Yeah. And have you ever been on a cruise?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll do a cruise. Okay.
Yes.
I feel like a cruise director in the summer. I feel like they want constant
like bingo
fun.
over here. The show starts in 5. Yeah, totally.
Because mine have gotten older. They're all teenagers, and they're like, what are we supposed to do today? Like today. And I'm like, find something to do.
Yes,
have fun.
that's right.
Without your screen. But that's
right.
They constantly want to spend money.
Yes.
Constantly.
Oh, yes. And what's crazy too for my kids, I'm like, you need to be bored. Like I've read studies, like boredom is actually really good for their brains developmentally. and they're never bored because they'll,
Yeah.
they can have a screen or do a thing. And I'm like, you guys, you may just need to be bored for a little bit. And of course they hate
But
that.
it feels like we're having to teach them how to be bored.
yes.
And we weren't taught how to be bored. We were just bored.
That's right.
And
we
that was
didn't
the
have a lot
word
of
that went
options.
with it.
That's it. I know. So yeah, I saw something the other day. I think it was like on Instagram, but it was like bring the 90s summer back.
Yes.
And it was like a whole checklist of stuff. And I was like, yes, like
That's what we
that's
need.
it. I know.
But now it's not safe to get lost in your neighborhood and all.
Yeah, depending on where you live. That is true.
Yeah,
that
it
is
could not
true.
be safe. So we're not advising that. But so what can families do? There's also the social pressure of like we're at the age where everybody's going out west, right? They're taking their
Okay.
kids out west on
Yes.
these huge vacations. And we're doing it, but we're doing like a mini version of some of our friends and what they're
Yes.
doing. What's your recommendation for families that want to take these trips? Obviously, plan for it.
Sure.
Like nothing is sudden.
Right. Yeah. A family trip. Yeah. If you're more than 2 people and you're flying somewhere these days, you definitely have to plan and look forward because for majority of people, they don't have that kind of margin just sitting in their account just to go and spend. And so I think it's really important. I think there's the tactical side of planning and kind of like the realization, which isn't always fun as adults to be like, okay, we may not be able to pull that off this summer because we didn't plan and we don't have the money. And so it's much wiser to have some of that guilt, if you will, of not doing it than the stress that will follow with the bills if you go and like rack up a bunch of credit card debt, for instance. And then there's also the other side of it's the comparison piece that's very real. And
real.
it is, and you want good for your kids, right? So if you see the family out west, riding horses, you're like, good for them. And I want my kids to be able to experience that. And so I think realizing that when you put the blinders on and focusing on you and your family, the comparison game kind of starts to dwindle, right? There's levels of gratitude and humility that can come into play with this, but there is it's a hard uphill battle in today's world with comparison. And so I think we get in the concept in our heads too that they have it better, and you will see, the beautiful, great pictures, and that's awesome, but you don't know what happened 5 minutes before. You didn't know that.
And you don't know what kind of debt they're in
That's
either.
right.
Like,
yes. Yeah. You have no idea.
Yeah.
And so that was a justification I would play sometimes when I would see someone and I'd be like, they're probably just in a bunch of credit card debt. I would like say it to make myself feel better. And then I got to this place and I'm like, Rachel, you don't know. You don't know. Either way, whether they saved up and paid for it or they're in debt, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. Like you don't know. And so learning to celebrate people, that's like been the biggest juxtaposition for me of comparison. When you can truly get to a place where you're scrolling, and you see Mary out on a horse with all her kids and you're like,
Good for them.
Good for you. And then you just keep scrolling. You know what I mean? You just can keep going. Like your plan doesn't have to derail because Mary's out west with her family, right? So, so there's something really to be said about anchoring to yourself, your values, and knowing we can't have everything we want right when we want it. Instant gratification is everywhere else in life, but financially, it's smarter to have more delayed gratification. And it takes a level of fighting against self, if you will, because of everything we want, which I understand why.
one of the guys on your team, so we did Disney last fall. Goodness gracious. I mean, I felt like we did Disney lean. There is no Disney lean. Like you're
Oh, yeah.
you're all in. Like
That's
there's
it, I know.
Yeah. And once you're all in, you're like, of course I'm going to get the fast pass because I'm already here. But
That's right. I know.
who wasn't on your team? They did like an Instagram.
George Campbell.
Okay.
Yes,
they did an
yes. He
Instagram
did like a man on the
interview.
street
Yes.
interview. I know.
And it was so sad.
I know.
Of how many people are putting
100%.
Disney on credit cards. And
Yes.
that's just not the wise thing. You enjoy it more if you've paid for it before you go.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. And again, I totally understand, why people want the joy, they want the experience, and they want the fun. And I think what we have to reconcile as parents is that, yes, while Disney is fine and great, like we love Disney, it's great, fun thing to do. At the end of the day, the things your kids are probably honestly going to remember and what shapes them is really not always the big extravagant things. I think experiences are great. I actually think that does shape a level of bonding
But
with
you can
family.
go hiking. You can
Yeah,
go,
that's right.
Yeah,
That's
it
right.
doesn't
Yes,
have to be something crazy.
exactly. You can do those things to create that quality time with your kids that honestly they want. Like they crave it. It was funny. I was out with some girlfriends. This was about two weekends ago, and one of them has a junior in high school, and we went to her house. We stopped by to pick up mahjong. We were like, God help us all. We are in that. Yes. And her daughter was there with like 8 friends, like sitting at the kitchen bar. And all of us, come in and we end up talking to them for probably like 30 minutes. Anyways, we left and the dad, my friend's husband, texted us girls and he was like, they kept talking about how fun it was chatting with y'all. Because we were asking them about, like, we have middle schoolers going into middle school. So we were asking them about social media and phones and like what they think, it was a fun conversation. And he said, remember, they want to be with you. Like, they may not say it, they may not act like it, but like they truly want to be with you. And so I can say that from a junior in high school, from a friend's, a friend's perspective, to my own kids. So my son last night was like, will you go play Hot Wheels with me? And I'm like, oh my gosh, back in the floor playing Hot Wheels. But they want you as a parent to be present. And so what you can do is that is irreplaceable. But then also when you can have some fun experiences to tag along in that doesn't have to be expensive or over the top. Like, that's the perfect balance.
And planning, you mentioned that, but planning, I mean, even the summer camps.
Yes.
You can't just keep adding to. You've got to sit down at the beginning and make a plan for what.
Yes. And what is so frustrating as a parent is like all of this is 6 months in advance.
Yes,
so you're planning for camps in February, January and February when signups are. And so you're like just coming off of Christmas and then you're forced into this like system where you're like, oh my gosh, I have to be thinking about June and July. And so that's the forethought that, again, as a type B, kind of a free spirit, not great at details, that's what always still to this day catches me off guard where I'm like, oh my, or school supplies. Like there's a company that does our kids' school supplies and you buy it, you buy it
early,
at the end of May of the school year for the next, coming August. And so it's just that pre-planning rhythm. And honestly, once you kind of get into it, there still will be things that will surprise you. But now I've done it enough, right, as a parent that you're like, okay, I know what's coming. I know sports season signups are the season before when you have to sign up. You sign up in the spring for the fall. So it is kind of calendaring it out, which takes a lot of forefront thought. But those details and diving into that, it creates a plan. And you're not going to be perfect at it, but at least you can kind of have somewhat control over what's going on.
And you can budget accordingly.
That's right.
And plan and
exactly. So you can look and say,
money.
how much, how much do we need here? And like a trip, for instance, so you don't need everything when you're booking. Like if you're flying, for instance, you don't need to have everything when you buy the airline tickets. You got to buy the airline tickets, and then maybe you put a small deposit on a hotel or a VRBO, and then all that's due later, right? So you can kind of actually spread out some of the expenses depending on what you're saving for.
So you're not anti-frequent flyer miles, are you? No, just not through credit card.
Yeah, not through credit cards.
That's it. I was like, wait,
yes, I know. I have my Southwest, my Southwest miles for sure. Oh yeah, no, the loyalty programs, yes, rock up. But yeah, when you're going playing the credit card game is what I caution against, trying to get those miles through that.
Use your Sky Miles.
That's right, for sure. That's right.
That's how we're going to Phoenix.
I love it.
We looked at which was cheaper, and then we could all fly. It's like 25,000 miles round trip.
There you go.
Going through Phoenix. Like it.
Totally.
But just being practical.
For sure.
It.
Yes.
But you mentioned the emotional side and then getting to the place of being happy as you scroll through Instagram for other people. How did you get there? I feel like women get stuck in the Instagram, social media, like they're getting to do that. How are they getting to do that? I didn't think they had this much money. Like it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny. Money is such a revealing topic in our lives because it's always rooted in something deeper. And so even when people call in on the Ramsey show, they're like, it's a fight with their spouse and they're like telling us about it and like who's right and wrong. And you kind of get to the bottom of it. You're like, this isn't really a money problem. You got a marriage problem. So it ends up leading us deeper into our souls, if you will, into our spirits of what is this revealing? And so I think that's the important question is asking why? Why does that bother me when I see someone else? Is it because I'm unhappy with my life? Am I not satisfied here? Do I feel like my worth is tied to what's presented and I don't have a lot to present? And so my worth now is in question. Like it's kind of asking those deeper questions to get to the root of it. And I would say, for me, because I'm an Enneagram 3, like comparison, I get it. Like I wrote a whole book on it. Like this is I get it. This is like my Achilles heel. And I think for me, I early on, I think I believed I could never get there. And I'm like, man, they get to do something that like I don't get to do. And there's a level of limited belief there that I had to say, okay, Rachel, regardless of whether you get there or not, even though actually choose to believe like the glass is half full and there's great opportunity in the world, and maybe you will get there one day. But even if you don't, like what is tied and what's actually going to bring not even just happiness, but like deep joy and contentment is actually putting, for me, my effort, my money, my time, my energy in things that actually money can't buy. And so I find like when I focus on my spiritual life, like there's something that you can't buy that. You can't buy a marriage that is not perfect, but you're working at, and a spouse that you love, your kids, time with your kids, hopefully a job that you love and your passion meets your talent, and it's just like the most wonderful thing that you're so grateful for. You know, your health, right? Like there's things that you just can't buy. And I think for all of us, when those buckets are full, like when you're able to say, I am putting my time and energy in my own life, not worried about everyone else, into the things that are actually going to bring me a level of, I think, satisfaction and joy that is way lasting than just like a flash fry of happiness of buying something. When you do that over and over and over and over and over, you know, when scripture says you reap what you sow, I think there's an element of that. And not saying that you're completely immune by any means. We're still human, and you're still going to, absolutely, and you're still going to see things and be like, oh man. But where that twinge comes from, I think, is asking that question, and then just the practice of over of gratitude, the practice of focusing your time on stuff that honestly just matters. Dr. Arthur Brooks, I don't know if you're familiar with him, he's amazing. And he's a professor at Harvard. He literally is a brain scientist. And so he studies happiness and what, like, it's beautiful when God and science like overlap. We're literally like how our bodies are created and our brains are created. It's fascinating. And he talks about there's actually 5 things you can do with money, and 4 can actually stimulate the brain in some level of happiness, and 1 does not at all. And so giving, generosity, actually creates happiness, like chemically in the brain. Buying experiences with people you love, just like we talked about, actually has creation of, stimulates the brain. Buying back your time, which I thought was fascinating, and using your time for good. So if you have money and you're like, hey, I'm gonna have someone clean the house once a week. Or
I was gonna say, that's the best money that we spend.
Yes, it is. Yes, and instead of like,
I'll not go eat.
Us do that. That's right. Yes, instead of like cleaning the home, you're playing with the kids, or you're spending time in prayer, like whatever. Like you're using that time for good, and actually saving money, which I thought was very fascinating because Proverbs talks so much about saving money and actually having. In the house of the wise, there's stores of choice food and oil. A foolish man devours all he has. Like wise people say, there's a level of that is wise and good. So you're not just broke and living crisis to crisis. And because of that, like it actually gives a level of happiness to the brain of satisfaction. And then the 5th thing that brings no level of, it brings a quick level of happiness and then it's gone. And that's buying stuff. Buying material things is the only thing that does not last in happiness with money. And yet we live in a world that like it's like we know it. Yeah, we know it. And then yet where do we spend all of our time and our energy? And so at Ramsey, we always say it's okay to have nice stuff. So I'm definitely not someone that's like, you can never have anything nice. So it's okay. You're not evil or anything. It's okay to have nice stuff. Just don't let your nice stuff have you. And it can have you when you go into debt for that stuff, because scripture is clear that the borrower is slave to the lender. And when you borrow money, you don't own it, you owe on it. And so debt creates that, and then also your identity and your self-worth and your happiness and your, all of that. When that is tied to a thing, an actual material item that could be taken away at any moment, you're left in a vulnerable place emotionally. So that was kind of a long answer for you, but
it's good.
All of that tied together it is really important. And again, I think it's just the practice and the self-awareness and having grace for yourself too, because like we're not going to be perfect and we're going to feel those things sometimes, but I think just the awareness of where's that coming from and what practices can I put in my rhythms of life to kind of safeguard against some of that.
Are you noticing as we get older, like we're talking more of, we don't want to have a 30-year mortgage. We don't want to have just realizing by the time that 30 years is up, we're going to be much it all starts to shift.
Yes.
And then you feel bad. I mean, we have friends that have panicked over their retirement or just different. And so I feel like we're at the point like in late 30s, early 40s where everybody's going, okay, there's life after this, hopefully. And we might not have planned well for it.
That's right.
And so what is your advice to the family that they've got older kids, they want to have experiences, but they also haven't planned well? What do you say to them?
Yeah, so I would say getting your financial life in order first is going to create peace. Like it really will. If you just live in the now and everything, like we just have to do everything now, with the experiences and all of that, and your financial life is a wreck, it's going to cause more stress and anxiety. It just is. It's not going to bring the level of satisfaction that you really want. And so I would say start working that foundation, which would be getting out of debt. If you have consumer debt, if you have credit card debts, if you still have student loans, we still talk to people in their late 30s, they're still paying off student loans. Car debt, like anything like that, like get to the place where you pay off debt. And it takes on average 18 to 24 months to do that for the average person. And then have some savings, 3 to 6 months of expenses. And then that's when you can start really looking towards the future after that. So you kind of, your bases are covered. And then we suggest funding 15% of your income into retirement. So you'll be putting money away for that. And that could be 401ks, Roth IRAs. We won't get all nerdy in the investing side, but there's that end. So that is helpful because for a lot of people with retirement, if they've done anything, they may have done their like 401k at work and went up to the match and did like 4%. And then they run the numbers.
There's so many people that don't even take the match.
That don't even do that
it's
either.
Free
I know.
Money.
Yes, that's right.
It's
I know.
Free money.
So so 15% will get you very well for majority of people. Yes. And then kids' college is another, kind of step. So if you want to put money away for that, which is a big discussion people are having of college these days. And then the next is paying the house off. So that's kind of you do those steps, the retirement, kids' college, and pay off the home kind of all together. And so that's really what we find people that start to say what you're saying, where they're like, oh my gosh, I have to like get some things in order and start actually looking towards the future of like paying this house off or having money for retirement. And so that's a perfect time to kind of start embracing those steps.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And summer also allows the time, at least for us, like we're not traveling, we have the time to think through, okay, what do we actually want to accomplish? A lot of people say to do that at the end of the year, but for parents, that's a crazy
time. Yes, that's right.
And you're looking at like probably your worst financial time.
That's right.
To sit and plan, whereas summer allows for that. And so if listeners haven't gotten the time to really sit down and go through their finances, do that. Because if you don't know what you have, I mean, that's the basic step for you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But when you say most Americans don't know what they have.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Or there's probably a level of denial of like they don't even want to look because it may not be great. But also we find that, people, they just don't, it's almost like they know what to do, but the behavior change hasn't occurred. And so you have to implement the behavior, just like what you're saying. Like when you have the time and space, especially like this summer, like actually start participating in it and doing something, creating a budget, looking at your bills, looking at the balance on the student loan that maybe has been in deferment that you haven't been paying on, like actually start doing some things and collecting those numbers, because that's going to help. And if you're married, you and your spouse sit down together and do it together. And it doesn't have to be a tension point. It can create a lot of conflict. Money and marriage, there's a lot of tension for a lot of couples because you're so opposite usually of your spouse when it comes to money management. But pushing through that and creating that plan. And what's funny too, in our business, we call like August 10th, August 15th is the second new year, because we find, at least at Ramsey, it like everything spikes back up because people are engaging their life again.
They're instituting their plan.
That's right. Yes,
like
absolutely. Yeah, and things are getting back into the rhythm of life. And but if you can do that before August, right? Like what you're saying, like if you can sit down and do it, and if you do a budget for the first time, you and your spouse, you run your numbers and you're like, okay, here's what we're going to spend on food. The first month's going to be crazy. So if you do it in June, just know July may not be, it's probably not going to be a perfect budget. You're going to have to change some numbers, and that's okay.
Of money. School's been out since last Thursday.
Yes.
We've gone through almost 3 gallons of milk.
Of food. I know.
Like the amount of food.
I know. Oh, I know.
That's going to go through my house.
Yes.
Because we're 12, 13, and 14, and the 12-year-old boy eats
you out of
constantly.
house. Yes. It's wild. So the grocery budget, yes.
But just own it.
That's right. And be realistic about it too, right? Like if you create a budget and you're like, I think we can do this on $200 a month. Like, don't do that. Like that's, yes, I know.
And then you're just fighting because you're like,
that's right. And you get frustrated.
Yes.
You got to be realistic about your numbers. That's very important. So if you look at the Costco budget and you're like, this is what we spend at Costco and it hurts, but like it's the reality, put the numbers in. Now, if you are in the red and you're running out of money at the end of the month and you have to cut places, then yes, find the categories. They're like, okay, we usually don't pull back on Costco, but we need to in order to save money. That's one thing. But also be realistic. Yeah, be realistic with the numbers.
So let's talk about this in relation to parenting.
Yes.
Because that's where it gets really hard.
I know.
We had our friends moved into, like, they had lived on our street for a while, and they moved into, like, we're in a great neighborhood, but they moved into an even bigger neighborhood. And our daughter came in having no clue of reality of what had gone on in those circumstances.
Yes.
But she was convinced that we needed to quit our jobs to do what they were doing so that we could have the house that had a basketball court.
Oh, hilarious.
And all these other things. And we're like, Zoe, this is not real life.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But they have no perception
No. Right.
of reality at all. And so how do we as parents institute that perception of reality into their life? And
Yes.
I mean, we ended up like drawing it out of, hey, Zoe, we have a 3% mortgage on this house.
Sure.
Like, it would
Yeah.
be
And teaching her the
stupid.
math side
Yeah.
of it. Sure.
So
yes.
we would be
yes.
better off having a second house than we would.
That's right. That's
anyway.
right.
And so just looking at the math with her, but that's so hard with kids because all they see
Sure.
and believe, especially in those early teenage years, are what they see on the internet and what their friends are doing.
Yes.
But they don't see reality.
No.
So
Yeah. You know, the first thing that I always think about, which is always like, oh, I hate it, but it's just the truth too, is more is caught than taught. Like your kids, they're going to see overall what you value. They're going to hear the conversations you have around money, the things you talk about. And so if you're obsessed with, you know, making a big income and that's all you and your husband talk about at the dinner table, like of course your kids are going to be thinking that's important, right? They're going to kind of follow that lead. And so that's always like the blanket umbrella statement because it is true. Our kids see us and they are watching everything. As you know, as a parent, I'm like, man, they see it all. And so that's, the more is caught than taught is very real. And then I would say the second is meeting them where they're at because I get it. Like my middle is me through and through. Like again, I'm a spender more than a saver. I enjoy stuff like the Amazon packages are usually mine. Like I get it. And so I had an instance with her and it was like right before we were going to the dentist the night before, and our dentist gives like little like, it's like those gumball machine things that you get like a little toy. It's like a stupid little plastic thing. And she's like, I just cannot wait to go to the dentist to get a new toy, Mom. And she's all she was talking about med. And I was like, babe, I was like, okay, so why? She's like, she literally said, it makes me so excited. Like my body starts to get so excited. My heart's beat fast. Like I just cannot wait to get that new toy. And I'm like, I get that. That's called dopamine. And I get that. When I buy something new on Amazon, I understand what you're saying. And so I was laying in bed with her and I was like, I get it. And I said, but do you know where your toy is 6 months ago when we went to the dentist? And she's like, oh no, I don't. I said, I know. And I said, honestly, you probably couldn't tell me where it was a week later. And I said, I can tell you this because I get it. But like if the newness of stuff is what funds your happiness, you're going to be a rat in a wheel for the rest of your life. Like it just is what it is. It will fade over and over. And I don't care if it's a new jacket, a new car, like you can go as big or small, like it just becomes a thing again. And the upgrade is what's always next around the corner. So whether it's the next house, right? Like in that circumstance or, a new pair of shoes, like whatever the thing is, like the upgrade's always available. And we have to get to a point of understanding and learning, like that contentment piece is so big, So that's one thing is like leveling with them or I have with my kids where I'm like, I get it. Like I understand. But also I've had to learn the hard way, like how much money I've probably wasted through my life on that stuff. So that's been big and just with them, being in it with them. And then the third, which I think you guys did beautifully, is like just painting the reality of like, hey, here's what's going on. And not that and I don't want to like villainize other people either of like, oh my gosh, just because they have that, they're probably in
but
debt.
it's what you said. It's like, we're happy for them.
But
this
like,
was the choice
and we
they
have
wanted to make.
absolutely.
Great.
And so when they can learn as kids
to be happy,
to celebrate and to see and to know like this is it. And that money is limited. Like I do want my kids to know that. I hear some creators in the financial space where they're like, don't ever say you're broke or what, I don't know. And I'm like, but sometimes that's the truth. Like, you know, and so there is a point that like money does, it runs out. Like it's not a forever thing. And that's when you go into debt. But you know what I mean? Like where it's like, this is there's no stopping you. And so learning the limits of it are important. And when they can actually physically handle their own money and actually start to feel that emotion themselves, like that's a great thing, right? They're going to learn lessons and make mistakes and do all of that under your roof. So the more they can interact with that and understand it, I think is big for their own emotional side. And then the last thing I always want to partake in my kids, and we probably haven't done as good of a job, but I just over and over as an adult, the more I live life with an open hands and can be generous, it combats a lot. Like the same feeling I told my middle this that you get of like that excitement is like you can get that exact same feeling. Like we went to Waffle House last weekend. My kids love Waffle House. I'm a Cracker Barrel girl, but they like love Waffle House. And it's just fun to talk to them and be like, okay, here's the bill. And we did. We were like, here's the bill. You always tip 20%. And so here's what 20%. But what if we went bigger than that? Like, what would be a crazy amount? Of course, my son was like 67, 67, but I'm like, okay. And like letting them participate in something like that. And it's fun. Like it is. I'm like, there's a joy in that. And then telling them and tying them back to like, you are created in the image of God. And God is the biggest giver of us all. When he gave us his son. Like there was something about him coming here to be with us in the dirt and the mud and walking amongst us, what he did. Like the generosity of that is beautiful. And like you get to participate in like in a portion of that when you are giving, because you are reflecting him in his image in that way. And so again, it's not a perfect science, all of this, but it's kind of that mixed bag is what I do as a mom. Like when something comes up, because it does. Like I have one starting middle school, and already she's been like, Mom, I want the name brand X, Y, and Z. I don't want the knockoff on Amazon. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So how do we balance this? What are these conversations? So all of those puzzle pieces.
And we're learning, like
big.
we didn't talk about it because we didn't want them to feel any pressure of what we had or didn't have. And now that we're able to do more, they constantly want more. And so I'm like, okay, they've got to feel the pressure a little bit. Like they need, and they're older now, so they need to feel a little bit. But one child, I won't say their name, but she went to the fair the other night. They have the little green light cards, which we like. Do you like those?
Oh, yeah, the green lights. Yeah, those are great. Yes,
we like the green light cards. It's better than Venmoing parents every night
for sure.
And so my husband had put more money than I would have given her on the card. And she blew it all within the first hour.
Yeah.
On carnival games, which is something that we would not buy if we were there.
Yes.
And then she called because she was hungry for dinner. And I was like,
so good.
You can't give her money for dinner.
So good. It is. I know. Yes.
And he didn't. And she ate when she got home, but she was livid. But she had to feel
so
it.
Good though.
They have to feel it a little bit.
Yes. Well, you have to manufacture some of that. Like when I, like growing up, like when my dad was starting, all of this, like we went to every event and worked back book tables. We did the shipping department. And we were constantly working because they didn't have childcare. And when you are raised by an entrepreneur, you go with them. Like it's probably how you felt too. I'm like,
it was.
You're part of it. Like you are. Where today, my kids, that's not necessarily their story. And so
they're staying in the nice hotels.
That's our yes, that's always our fear. Always. That's one of our biggest fears in parenting. It really is of how do we manufacture struggle for them? Because that's what I have to do. Like we have to manufacture struggle because they have to feel it. And like we're in an area, a nicer part of Nashville, and we have friends and kids are turning 16. And there's not a right or wrong in how you do the cars at 16, but like our kids are going to pay for half their car. And I'm like, y'all I've already told our 11-year-old, I'm like, I know it seems far away, but your car is not going to be a brand new Bronco. Like, you know what I mean? Or a brand new what X, Y, and Z. It's just not. This should be the worst car you ever have at 16. So like, that's the reality. And so like, what are those moments for me and my husband? Like we talk about it, like we need these milestone moments that they participate in working and understanding that money comes from work. Money doesn't just come from mom and dad. And so we're big on that. They have to give some of their money. They have to be saving some of it, giving and spending some of it, which they can. But like all of that is, it's a lot. And you know what too? I look back and it'll be 2 weeks. I'm like, oh my gosh, we haven't done any of what we've just talked about. You know what I mean? Because time flies and you're busy as a parent.
So much structure.
It takes so
we
much.
travel next week, and so I'm like, I don't want to establish a schedule this week because we're gone next week.
That's
anyway,
right. That's right.
It just is constant. But I want to go back to, because I know we've had summers where we were just broke, and I'm sure you have too when your kids were younger. And that's a lot of moms listening where they're like, we can't afford to do any of this stuff in the summer.
Yes.
You can still, like we said, create magic for them without having to spend money.
Yes, absolutely.
During COVID, we found this app. I'll find it and put it in the show notes, but where it shows you all the hiking trails around your house. Like,
yes.
go hiking, go find that.
Yes.
What other?
You know,
thoughts
it's funny.
do you have?
Our over Christmas break, and it was like we had like a warm front come in or something. So I was like over Christmas
Before
break.
the really cold.
But we did, yeah. That's before the ice storm hit in January. Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. But we like threw all the kids' bikes in the back of my husband's truck and went to like a high school. It's just around the corner from our house, and we just like rode bikes around this parking lot. And literally, my kids still talk about it. They're like, remember we rode by? And I'm like, because it was different than on the driveway. It was just like one location that, away. But yeah, there are, and that's another great point. I think COVID did a benefit to us of figuring out what you can do
be
for
creative.
fun. Yes,
Yeah.
with your spare time. And so, and there's even like podcasts. Like there's a one called 1,000 Hours Outside.
There
Jenny
is,
does
yeah.
it, which is just great. Like there are so many great opportunities to find ideas. Like this is like the pro of social media. If you just go and search and look, and it's amazing. Like it really is how many things that you can be doing with your kids. And letting them hear the word no too. That's not going to wound them. Like it's going to be okay. And actually what you're creating in their character by doing that is that delayed gratification, that they don't get everything they want when they want it. And there's a patience to that is lost in our world today. That
The funny part, though, with my daughter the other night, she called my parents and said we didn't feed her dinner, which was quite hilarious.
oh my gosh. Her parents are probably like, what are y'all doing? Yes.
I was like,
Like, listen, she spent all
doesn't
her
have
money
money.
already. That's so funny.
but they didn't
so
get the
good.
whole story.
Totally.
But
Yeah. That's so
But yes,
good.
we do have to say no. We have to be.
I'm proud of y'all. That's
creative.
hard. I mean, that
Well, I
that
was mad
good.
that she was given that much in the first place.
So you're like, she's
go.
definitely not getting any more.
But we have one that's a super saver and one that's
Yes,
not.
same,
And so
same.
it's that balance because we talked about the car thing.
Yes.
Well, what if one saves and the other doesn't?
I
save?
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
so,
get a nice
anyway.
bicycle, to go to school in. I know. And that funny though, that's another discerning thing as a parent is like how different your kids are wired and what you have to do. And like my oldest, she's the saver.
Yeah, same.
And I'm like, you also have to open your hand and like have some fun. Like it's okay. You can enjoy. Like it's funny. I have to like push that. Or my middle, I'm like, okay, we need to save. You have to.
Rein it
I'm
in.
requiring you to put money away to save. You have to learn this muscle of money because you are going to be broke. Yeah. So good.
So hard. And within marriage, when this airs, the previous week we'll have talked about values with Sean and Andrew East about their new book and looking at like what are the values for your family. Your money really ends
Yes.
up aligning with what you value.
Absolutely. For sure. Yes.
Yeah.
I know I always say your money brings out, yes, what you value, your fears, your goals, your dreams. Like it does. It reveals itself so much. There's like an old saying that was like, I will show you what you value by your calendar. Yeah. And your bank
And your
account.
bank account.
Yeah. You're going to see what you value in that. And so for spouses to come together is so key in this because you're going to be different. Like I always laugh. My husband could live in a duck blind in Arkansas for the rest of his life and be very happy where I'm like, I could be in New York City and be great too, right? Like we are going to be different people and that's okay. So the way and what we spend our money on may be different, but our value around, we're going to have a plan. We're going to have a budget and you get a certain amount, I get a certain amount. We both have a say in what's going on. There's not a hierarchy in this. Like we are both adults sitting at the table and I don't care who brings in the money either. Like if you are a stay-at-home mom.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's
your
the same.
husband, or your husband works or the
working.
wife makes more than the husband, like whatever the dynamic is.
money.
When both paychecks hit that account for the household, because I do believe in having one checking account for a household. That's the household, but like that's the money we have to run our household, regardless of who brings it in, because everyone's bringing some type of value to the table. So that's an important like working teamwork aspect of all of this. And then you get to plan your life together, and there may be some give and take, right? You may have a season where you're spending money on something that he wants for a little bit, and like if you agree, like that's okay. And then there may be a season where you go on a girls trip and there's some money going that way, like. But it's the idea that we are agreeing together is so big because, again, what comes out of that conversation is I feel like we don't have enough in savings and I'm freaking out because of maybe how you grew up or like whatever actually starts to happen in those conversations is really, really important. And then also embrace your differences because you're going to be different. Like husbands and wives are usually like opposites attract and it's very true. And so I've had to value and see like Winston brings something to the table that I don't have, that I'm not good at. And he brings that. And vice versa. Like I would be broke if I didn't have Winston probably. Like he runs the spreadsheets and like all of it. And I'm like, that's great.
There's always
But then
a spreadsheet.
yes, always a spreadsheet. I know. And I'm like, but if he didn't have me, he'd have no fun in life. And so I bring the fun.
True.
But there's a partnership in that that's really beautiful, you know, that you get to lean on each other. And I think that's really big. And what happens is couples, when things do get hard, the problem I see is they just either just say, like, well, we're just going to run our money separately. And I'm going to have my account, he's going to have his account. And we don't fight because of that. Because we don't, and I'm like, yeah, you don't fight because you don't have to engage a subject that's difficult. And when you actually are in a marriage, the thing that you struggle with and the thing that actually causes the conflict is the exact issue you need to run towards. Because that creates intimacy. Like you don't, you know, there's a deepening that happens when you walk through this trial together. And I think it is really important because money fights and money problems is one of the leading causes of divorce in America. Like it tears people apart. And so understanding
And the hidden.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All the
hidden stuff.
the hidden accounts, hidden credit cards, the online gambling. We have seen it like out the roof. Sports betting, like all of that stuff. It is wild. What is being done. And so being honest, right, and being on that same page is so big. Yeah.
And lastly, thinking about all of these things combined, there's so much pressure. There's all of the stupid Instagram things that talk about like you only have 18 summers or you only have and you have to release that. I mean, I went down this dark hole with it and I was like, oh my gosh, we've got to do out west and we've got to do this and we've got to go to New York every like we have to release that.
For
right?
sure.
Like we can't live in that pressure.
No, you can't. And honestly, if you create a great family, they're going to come back. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like my parents, like we go on a trip with them every year. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not this, it forces a level of urgency that is somewhat unnecessary because it almost justifies this level of spending. And like, we have to do all these things and you're okay. You have time. You're fine. And God forbid you never go to Disney World for your whole life. Like you're going to survive and be okay. You know?
First time we went, the girls were really little and we could just do one day.
Yes.
And we did one day at Magic Kingdom and they thought that it was the greatest thing that ever happened in their life.
Yes.
And that was fine. They never knew.
It's all they needed.
Until
That's
we
right.
went, that there were 1,000 parks and all the things. Like
and I think, you know, for parents checking your motivation of the why.
Exactly.
And you know, and you mentioned the social media part, but I'm like, it is a big part of our lives. And I think, you know, the question I always ask myself is, if nobody sees this purchase, do I still want it? Or if nobody sees this experience,
that's a really good question.
do I still want it? And so the motivation of us parents feeling like we have to fulfill something in our kids actually may be more of a reflection of what's going on in us than them.
It's so good. And that just opens up. I think about like with savings and once you have that buffer, the peacefulness that comes with that of like, okay, we can live if COVID happens again or
That's right.
the air conditioner breaks or whatever.
There's no events, right? Seriously, you think
It's a
about
real
like
thing.
when anything,
we're all
and no
in
one
the
would have
event.
ever thought, genuinely, no one would have ever thought that something like that would happen. And you're like, or a job is lost or someone gets sick or, you know, there's a lot of people we talk to and the mom wants to come home, stay home with the kids. And they're like, but our mortgage would be 50% of our, you know what I mean? Like you build a life around something that's unmanageable. It's very difficult to have choices and options. But like what you're saying, that there's a level of savings. And when you don't owe anyone anything, it gives you that level of peace.
And when that pressure's off, that also gives you the opportunity to just enjoy it.
Yes.
Like it's about the daily fun that you can have. Like
Totally.
It doesn't have to be grand.
No.
Is essentially what we're saying. And
Absolutely.
take the emotional pressure off, but that's hard.
It is. It very much is.
It's very real.
And for me, and I've been working on this, but like the practice of just being present, like being in the moment, because I'm such a forward thinker. Like I'm thinking about we can plan. I mean, I do. I can live in the future so often. And for me, there's something about like, okay, like if the outside world just like, if we don't know anything and you're just like in this moment, there's something so simple about it. We've made it so complicated. So complicated.
Yeah.
And we've done it to ourselves too, right? Like I say it to myself. I'm like, why have I put all this pressure on myself? And so releasing that, letting it go. And also nobody's looking or thinking of you as much as you think they're thinking about you too. You know what I mean? Like that's another part of it all. Like they're all worried about themselves.
Yes. And for couples starting out, what's your best advice to them financially?
I would
Other than
say-
being open.
Do what?
other than being open with each other?
Yes.
about
Yeah.
everything?
I mean, on a tactical sense, I would say sitting down and actually doing a monthly budget,
Yeah.
which is your income for the month, what you have minus all your expenses, including giving and saving. So everything you spend, and actually like looking at everything together. That's a huge first step. It's really tactical, but it's very revealing because you see like, okay, here's where our money's been going. Do we want to change that? Is that really what we value? Where it's like slipped away? What can we do to actually rein this in and have a level of a plan together? It does create a sense of peace.
And recognizing right now too with gas, we didn't talk about that and thinking about summer, but like just the cost of going somewhere is so much more than it ever has been. And so
Yes.
recognizing there might not be the summer beach trip that you've had before. And that's okay. Like
That's
just
right.
forgiving yourself for
Absolutely.
for what you shouldn't even have to forgive yourself for.
That's right.
And
That's right.
finding
Yes.
that, like it shouldn't be real,
Yes.
but it is.
Yeah, it really is all gonna. It's gonna be okay. Yes, this feeling of living at a certain level, right, or like what you have to strive for, or be when you actually just like like we were saying, just take the pressure off, be present, be good, and focusing on the things that again will actually bring levels of joy and happiness in your life when it comes to your money.
That's so good. Well, thank you, Rachel, for being here.
Yes, absolutely.
One
Thanks
last
for having us.
question that we ask every guest.
Yes.
What is something that's bringing you unexpected joy in your life in this season that you're in now?
Unexpected joy. It's kind of broad.
Okay.
But parenting. So I have a 11, 8, and 6-year-old. And this season right now, I'm like,
That's a fun season.
pause.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, everyone just pause.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, don't grow. Like, just be this age because we've not hit crazy middle school years, which I know are coming. And our son, he can like make cereal in the morning. He can like take his swimsuit off and get dressed by himself. Like, there's no high chairs, there's no car seats, no stroll. Like, they are functioning little humans in the world. But they're just sweet and they want. And so when I say they want to be with you, I'm saying that out of like the season of
they
life I'm probably
genuinely
in,
wanna
but
be
they
with you.
do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And they just like
And that
love
changes.
and they all,
So
yes.
soak it up.
I know. So
every
like
moment.
right now, that's been so joyful because parenting's hard. Like when we had them 2 years, boom, boom, boom. We look back and we're just like, or we see people with babies now. I'm just like, oh, you got this. Like there are just some long, hard days. And not that parenting's like smooth right now, but it is the most fun we've had. So
It
I'm
might
like,
be the smoothest that it's going to be.
that's what everyone says too. I know. So I'm like, just everyone stay right there. Don't grow up. Just be right here. Yeah. So
It's like
that's been fun.
toddlers are so physically exhausting.
Yes.
Teenagers are mentally
Exhausting. Yes.
They're lovely. I love you all.
Yes.
But they are
It's a
just
lot.
mentally exhausted.
It's
It's
a lot.
constant.
Yes.
And ours are
Yes.
all very close in age. And so
Yep.
it's just constant.
Yes.
But yeah, so soak it up.
We're right there. I know. Thank you. I will.
Enjoy every
Be
moment.
present. Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Rachel.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone that you know needs to hear it. I hope to see you soon at a Women of Joy live event.